Well, we're back, and it's going to be a really fun show today. And we're starting the show with Brian Poth. And he's got a lot of interesting things to tell us. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. It's nice to meet you.
It's good to have you here. And we want to hear all the exciting things that you want to tell everybody.
Sure. Well, this is the Artists and Authors Show. And so quickly, really a brief history about me. I'm from the Central Valley. I grew up in Tulare. Was always an actor. I was a child actor at a very young age. Started performing in church and encore theater. I was one of the very first encore kids. It's a children's theater group there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then from there, started auditioning in Los Angeles and working in LA at the age of 9. So I've been a professional actor my whole life.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Well, me too.
Yeah.
I know it. Oh, yeah. Once you love it and once you're into it, forget it.
Yes,
I
know. And I can't shake it. It's like I do a lot of different things over the last couple of years, but acting is still my bread and butter, thank goodness, and it's offered me a way, a lot of time, a lot of free time when you're acting, because you're either working or you're not.
Right.
And so when I'm not working, I'm still living here. I just moved back a couple years ago and had a lot of time on my hands, and with a couple friends started a local LGBT center in Visalia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now tell everybody what that means.
That means, okay, so LGBT stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. And we added a plus because we didn't want to exclude anybody. Actually, the acronym goes on and on and on. It has a couple A's and a couple Q's in it. So we just wanted to include everybody, anyone who is a family member, anyone who knows somebody who has any of those letters. We wanted to include family, friends, questioning, intersex, asexual, all of that. It's a community center and clearinghouse for resources that already exist in Tulare and Kings County.
Wow. Well, where are you actually? Are you up in Kings County?
We're in Visalia right
you're
now.
In Visalia.
Yeah. So we're at 208 West Main Street in Visalia, California, and we are in the basement of the Montgomery Square building.
Well, that's fantastic, and that's not that far away. So
no,
the people from this part of the valley can just go over there.
That's right.
Have a good time meeting people that'll be understanding, and it will be what it should be.
Yes.
Coming together no matter what.
That's right. Especially in light of what's happened recently with just with the shootings in Orlando. We were able to come together with other community leaders. A couple of our allies at churches called us that morning, and by that evening we had a candlelight vigil in Visalia that was attended by over 250 people. And so the community support has been really overwhelming. And there have been more opportunities to do things like this, like interviews, just because of the center, way more than I ever got as an actor. So I've gotten more camera time from the source than I have in the last couple of years acting, which is really funny.
That's fantastic. Yeah. What made you think of something like this? Was it things the way you have been treated, or what is it that?
Well, growing up in Central California, I didn't grow up thinking that I was gay, but as I grew up and became a young man and I was in college, it was clear to me that something was different, and I went away to school in Los Angeles and was exposed to a lot of different cultures and a lot of different
that's for sure.
Yeah. But in Los Angeles, there's a part of the city called West Hollywood, and in San Francisco there's the Castro District, and in Fresno there's the Tower District, and in larger cities you have these sort of hubs of culture or counterculture, and a lot of times young people are able to sort of realize and fit in, a little bit differently than they can in their hometown. And so in LA, I was able to plug into volunteer work, and the Gay and Lesbian Center there, they have health resources. They have their own hospital and doctors.
Wow.
They have therapists. They have community events. They have classes. They have housing opportunities for displaced youth. You know, a lot of our foster kids in the foster system are LGBT, and that's one of the reasons why they're kicked out of their homes.
Nobody thinks about that, you know, that kids have problems like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's harder for them because they don't know how to handle things, you know.
Right. So we're hoping to offer mentorship programs, and you know, there's larger city centers like San Francisco and Los Angeles. They have these big centers that are sort of a model for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're nowhere near getting there, but we're doing things like we have a bike ride coming up in October to raise awareness for National Coming Out Day, and that'll be in October. And we have, looking at the monitor. Oh, yes. We are family. So this will be our first family group. It starts September. In September, it'll be every Thursday night at 6:30. Mm-hmm. And the acronym ARE stands for Accept, Respect, and Empower our LGBT kids and families. So it's for any family member, parent, guardian, grandparent, sibling that has a youth or a child in their home that identifies as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, so that we can all support our kids and not, we can affirm them, we can help educate ourselves, so that we're not, you know, a lot of times when we don't understand things, we're very scared. I think it's just human nature.
Sure.
So if we can understand and empower and educate our families, I think we'll have a better chance of keeping these kids alive, because these kids typically, LGB, there was a study done, lesbian, gay, and bisexual children are 4 times more likely to commit or attempt suicide. And transgender kids are 8 times more likely. So, and I think it's just because there's this idea, first of all, they're teenagers, so everything is big. Everything's a big deal, remember?
That's for sure.
But, you know, not feeling accepted and not feeling loved and feeling very isolated and alone, we hope to change that by being a presence in the community that does good.
Well, what really impresses me that you're able now to talk to these parents and make them understand this is something to be proud about, not to feel like, oh my gosh, you know, my child is, you know, so that they can teach and they can support them then.
Yeah.
I think there's a great understanding that comes through.
Yeah. I kind of think of it as, you know, I was born with brown eyes. My brother had blue eyes. I always wanted blue eyes. I didn't get them. Oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
I was born the way I was born. And so for me to go around, you know, complaining about having brown eyes my whole life and never feeling accepted would be terrible. This is how I was made. So I sort of think of it that way.
Well, it's important. Love is the most important thing. And who you love doesn't really matter. It's just loving and being loved. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
What really makes me excited now, since I've been on this show, is that so many of the people, most of the people that come in are thinking about doing things to help other people. And this is so different from the me generation. I just really think, oh my God, we're coming out of the me generation. And they're going to come into the us generation, you know. We're all one. That's the hardest thing for us to if the Bible tells us. They're one. And, you know, like you and I are one. Mm-hmm. Everything about us is the same, except we have a different spirit. Yeah. And I am so excited about that.
I agree. I think that, you know, and I see kids these days, and they're so much further along with self-acceptance and, you know, this anti-bullying idea that, you know, it's no longer okay to make fun of kids for being different has really helped in a lot of ways our LGBT kids with being safer in schools, being accepted within their peers. Now, we got to work on, you know, my generation and maybe even my mother's generation with, you know, this idea of it's very hard to explain transgender or gender identity to, say, older people like my mother or even myself. We didn't grow up with this idea. We grew up with male and female. That's it.
Right.
But
right.
the science is proving that everybody's on a spectrum. We're not just all masculine or feminine. We're somewhere in between, and I think that that rainbow concept of the pride flag is really important to remember. We're all different colors of the rainbow, but we're all one rainbow.
That's for sure. Well, I notice in my life, most of my life was spent doing the masculine things that I needed to do because I was alone. I was an actress. I was going everywhere doing shows. I didn't get married till I was 65.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of time to be alone, and I had to take care of myself, and that's a masculine part of you that that you do the business, you do what you have to do, you protect yourself.
Yeah. It's interesting that we grow up, learning blue is this way and working is masculine and all of those things. All the qualities you just described, I would describe my mother that way too because she was a single mom. But I never thought of those qualities as masculine because I saw them as feminine. So I saw different qualities as masculine.
Well, I guess they're all the same.
Yeah, right? They're just human. We do what we have to do.
We sort of, in order to get through this life, we have to put things in pockets and okay, this is this, and we're not brave enough a lot of times to just push aside and look for something else.
Yeah, you do what's right in front of you, and then when that's taken care of, you do the next thing.
And what you're doing is exactly that now. You're opening a whole new genre for people who want to be together and want to understand each other and have fun and have everybody else around start to understand them.
Yeah, and not exclude. I don't like this us against them mentality, and especially when it comes to this area where so many people get so much out of their religion and their faith. So there's a couple things we're going to be doing coming up in the next months where we have been asked by churches and faith-based congregations to come and teach them about what we're doing, what we're there for. Start a dialogue so that it's not an us against them mentality, and it's really been heartwarming. And eye-opening that so many different faiths are becoming more and more and more inclusive and accepting to all people, not just LGBT people, but all people.
That's the way the church I'm going to is everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell them one more time the address and everything so that if people want to go there, and if they don't get the address, they can always call us. But I want them to know where your center is.
Great. So our center is located, it's the Source LGBT Plus Center. It's in Visalia, California. It's at 208 West Main Street, Suite B. And our website is www.thesourcelgbt.org. And you can like us on Facebook at The Source LGBT, and that's about it.
Well, thank you for The Source, and thank you for coming in, and come back again.
Yeah, sure. We'll do a scene.
Yeah.
We'll perform something.
Fantastic. That'll be great. Okay. We'll be right back.